Thank you so much for staying with the morning show right here on ETV. We're with you till 8:30 this morning, and right now we're going to be talking about all things power and energy. Now, load shedding is now a feature of daily life, and the increasingly negative effects of this are experienced by every single South African. Now, there's a couple of questions that we ask. For one, how should the transitions to clean and secure electricity supply be managed? And most importantly, how can South Africans' electricity crisis be ended once and for all? Well, joining me this morning, the National Science and Technology Forum is hosting an online discussion forum on transitions in South Africa's energy provision that is starting today, the 22nd of August, all the way till tomorrow, the 23rd of August, 2023. And I'm joined by the Executive Director of the National Science and Technology Forum, Jansie Niehaus, to break that down and more. Jansie, thank you so much for joining us right here on the morning show this morning. Thank you for making time to be with us. Maybe I'll get straight into it. Help us understand, who is the NSTF, the National Science and Technology Forum?
Good morning, and good morning to the viewers. The National Science and Technology Forum is a stakeholders forum for everyone who's in science, engineering and technology in some way. If that's your main mandate, you belong with us in the NSTF. We currently have 130 organizations. Most of them have been with the NSTF since 1995. And this is really a community that looks at things from a scientific perspective and wants to see South Africa working well, being transformed for our cohort of researchers and academics and engineers to be representative of the demographics, and for the education system to work well, especially in maths and science.
Yeah, and I think especially with this conversation, it might be something that requires quite a lot of thinking and planning. But fortunately, I mean, the NSTF is convening a 2-day discussion forum online about the transitions in South African energy provision. Can you maybe tell us a little bit more about this?
Certainly. It will be today and tomorrow, starting at 9 o'clock. So just now we will be on air as in a Zoom meeting. People can find the information on nstf.org.za. We are going to be talking about energy and particularly electricity, since that is a hot topic, and it is informed by various technical fields, expertise, and scientists. So we've got a lineup of 10 speakers. It's quite a variety of people. We're hearing from government in the form of the Presidential Climate Commission and from the Department of Science and Innovation. We're hearing from the private sector in various forms. We've got 2 associations that are participating, SAPVIA, which is the South African Photovoltaic Industry Association, and SAIPA, which is the South African Independent Power Producers Association. Then we've got a business, it's Revigo Energy Africa. We've got state-owned enterprises, Nexa. In fact, the CEO of Nexa will be joining us to talk about nuclear energy and its role in the mix. We've got Technology Innovation Agency, about the commercialization of technologies ecosystem and how that is being worked on to allow greater innovation in the energy space, as well as SANEDI, which is the South African National Energy Development Institute. So we've got 2 academics, which is unusual. We usually have strings of academics, but we are actually focusing very much on the practical and how research can be developed and commercialized. So we've got Professor Bernard Becker from the Stellenbosch University and Miss Jessie Burton from UCT.
It's quite a number of academics and different role players coming together to actually make this 2-day summit actually go so well. For South Africans that are watching, it's easy for us to feel like, oh my goodness, this is something that it's important because it affects me, but it feels out of my region of understanding, or even understanding why it's important for me to take note of this. For someone who's watching right now and they're hearing what you're talking about, they're just thinking the end goal, which is as long as there's no more load shedding and the South African energy crisis is sorted. Why is it important for us to actually not only know that this conversation is happening, but also possibly be a part of this conversation and listen to what the direction seems to be within all the different stakeholders in the energy sector?
I think what's really important to realize is that this isn't a problem that will be solved in this year or before the elections and it will be over. It is a long-term problem and a project to establish reliable electricity supply for South Africa. There is a lot that has to be fixed, but there's a lot that has to be built anew. And we've got a window of opportunity in which transformation can take place. The government calls it the just transition, and I think it's a very good way to characterize it because it has to be fair to society. It's very worrying because we will lose jobs along the way. There will be uneven justice distributed, but the aim is to minimize the damage and to establish something long-term. You have to listen to the scientists and the people who are technically knowledgeable. That is absolutely essential. We can't work on beliefs in terms of, okay, now we're going to supply this community with absolutely reliable energy for 24/7, and there is a payoff. It can be at the cost of the rest of the country. So it has to be a decision that is made fairly and with sufficient knowledge. And I'm sure that if people tune in, they will be able to learn things that they didn't know before. The people who speak at our forums speak very well. They are good communicators, and they do use, slides which we make available afterwards. We make the recordings available afterwards on our website, and we summarize all the issues that were discussed in a way that the public can understand it. So I do urge you to join us, pop in the course of today or tomorrow. The proceedings happen up until 1 o'clock, and I am sure that you will learn something that will be useful for you to understand the situation that we're in and what has to happen for that to change.
Now, Jansie, thank you so much for your time this morning. I think for a lot of people now, they understand just how big the problem is, but also how many people are taking hands in making sure that they tackle this particular problem that we're facing. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you very much, Kosi.
That was Jansie Niehaus, joining us on the morning show, Executive Director of the National Science and Technology Forum. And you want to make sure that if you want to get more details, do visit their website at nstf.org.za. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back just after this.